Have you ever had your rehab counselor relapse with you? I'd been sober for 47 days when I met Vaughn, my new counselor at the outpatient program. My previous counselor had retired, and Vaughn took over her caseload. He was different from what I expected. Younger, maybe early 30s, with tattoo sleeves peeking out from his rolled-up shirt. 8 years clean, he told our group during his introduction. I know exactly where you're sitting because I warmed that same chair. Vaughn had this way of cutting through the denial that made everyone listen. He'd share stories from his using days, not to glorify them, but to show he understood the mental gymnastics we played. During our one-on-ones, he never looked at his clipboard while I talked. He actually heard me, not just my addiction. 3 months into working with him, I noticed changes. He started showing up late to group sessions, apologizing with increasingly elaborate excuses. His usually pressed shirts became wrinkled. The steady eye contact turned into unfocused staring at the wall behind me. I recognized the signs because I saw them in my mirror 6 months ago. One Thursday, he forgot about our session entirely. When I called the center, they said he'd taken a personal day. The next week, during group, his hands shook as he poured coffee. Someone made a joke about needing stronger caffeine, and Vaughn laughed too loud, too long. After that session, I lingered in the parking lot. Vaughn came out 20 minutes later, walking unsteadily to his car. I knew that walk. I approached him carefully. "You okay?" He turned, and his bloodshot eyes gave him away before the smell of vodka did. "I'm fine, just tired," he mumbled, fumbling with his keys. I took the keys from his hand. "Let me drive you home." He didn't fight it. During the drive, he broke down completely. His sponsor had died 2 months ago from cancer. His ex-wife was getting remarried. His teenage daughter refused to see him. "I held it together for so long," he kept saying. 8 years down the drain. I should have called his supervisor. Should have reported it immediately. Instead, I drove him to his apartment, made him coffee, and sat with him while he sobbed. We talked until 4 a.m. about how recovery isn't linear, how one slip doesn't erase 8 years of growth. I used every phrase he'd taught me, turned his own wisdom back on him. The next morning, he looked at me with clearer eyes. "I need to tell them," he said. "I can't counsel anyone like this." But when Monday came, he showed up to group like nothing happened. Breath mints failing to mask what I could smell from across the room. For 2 weeks, I watched him deteriorate. His advice became reckless. He told someone that one drink wouldn't hurt if they were stressed. He missed 3 sessions. Other group members started whispering concerns. I kept making excuses for him, covering when he dozed off during group, deflecting questions about his behavior. Then came the Thursday that changed everything. Vaughn showed up to group completely intoxicated, slurring through the serenity prayer. When someone called him out, he laughed bitterly. "You think any of this matters? We're all just one bad day from using again." A woman who'd been sober 2 weeks started crying. Another guy walked out. That's when I stood up. "You need to leave, Vaughn, now." He looked at me with betrayal and fury. "You don't get to destroy their recovery because you're destroying yours." Security had to escort him out while he shouted about how I was just another junkie who thought I was better than him. I called the center director that night and reported everything. Vaughn was terminated immediately. They brought in an emergency counselor and offered additional support to everyone in our group. 3 people relapsed that week, saying if Vaughn couldn't make it after 8 years, what chance did they have? I almost relapsed too. Seeing someone I'd looked up to fall apart made my own sobriety feel fragile. But then I realized something. Vaughn had stopped doing the work. He'd stopped going to meetings, stopped calling his sponsor before he died, stopped being honest about his struggles. He'd been counseling others while neglecting his own recovery. 6 months later, I saw Vaughn at a meeting across town. He was getting his 30-day chip again, starting over. After the meeting, we talked briefly. He thanked me for reporting him, said it saved his life. He's working construction now, away from counseling. "Maybe someday," he said, "but not until I've done the work." That experience taught me that recovery isn't about time sober. It's about daily choices, continuous work, and never thinking you're cured. Even teachers can become students again. Even heroes can fall. But falling doesn't mean staying down. Today, I'm 18 months sober. I still go to meetings. I still do the work every single day.